Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this video, we'll be reading lesson 3. And just a quick reminder that in lesson 2, we talked about identification and forms. The forms these letters alif to ya appear in the Quran. So especially when they appear at the start of words or middle of words or at the end of words. So lesson 3 is also based on identification of shapes and forms. These letters might appear in the Quran. So if you look at the top here, it's like continuation of the exercise on lesson 2. So you can look at them and practice them so that you be sure you are able to identify these letters and you are able to pronounce them correctly. So if you look at lesson 3, is further discussing the way the letters might appear in the Quran. So if you look at ba, the one we talked about previously in lesson 2, it was still like the shape of ba, but just like you've cut this ba into 2. So but if you look here, this is entirely different. So but you still have to be able to identify this. So if you see anything like this in the Quran, it's still ba. So now we know 3 forms ba can appear in the Quran. Then if you look at ta, see, look at this ta, we've not seen this previously. The one we saw in lesson 2 is like the ta at the top here is sliced in half and you have one half side like that with the 2 dots on top of it. But look here, this is like this side is going to be joined to another letter. So when you see this, you still have to recognize that it is ta. And look at this, they call it ta marubut, or a round ta. So when you see a shape like this, you have to recognize it that it's ta, or like this, it is ta. And look at ain, these 2 shapes, they are still ain. You have to be able to recognize those. Going, fa, off, lam, mim, noon. Look at the noon. It's so similar to ba here, but the difference is the ba has a dot on its bum and the noon has a dot in its tummy. And her, look at the 2 hers, then ya. So you just have to, spend some time looking at these letters to be able to identify them, and the exercise as well. Look at the tha, the ta. Go through them, spend time to be able to identify them. You have to be able to do this before you can read Quran. Even if you are able to pronounce them correctly, but you can't identify these shapes, it's going to be a bit challenging because you kind of get stuck if you don't know the letter you want to pronounce. And look at this, page 7. Now, it's clearly stating the letters when they are in the beginning of words, they are in the middle, they are at the end of words. So look at alif. When it starts a word, it's like that. When it's in the middle, it's like that. When it's at the end, it's like that. Then look at ba. So clearly ba, the way it's written here, you see that it's at the start because the other side is going to be joined to another letter. And here, showing that it's in the middle, something is going to be joined to that side. And look at this one as well. It's showing that it's at the end because it's closed like this. So nothing else is going to be joined to it. And the same thing goes for ta. See, these different forms ta might appear. And don't forget the one we saw on page 6. So where the ta is written like this. Yeah, it's a bit different from the one on page 7. And look at the exercise on page 6. Look at the tha and look at the ta. Look at the noon, the ta, the ba, ya, and the tha. This is very, very important. Try to spend some time to get used to these letters, these shapes. Now we go back to page 7. See the jim, the middle here showing that a letter is joined to it. And look at the last one here, how it's going to appear at the end. Ha, ha, ha. kho, kho, dal, 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 dhal, dhal, dhal. So whichever form you see, they are still the same letter. It's just because maybe they start a word, they are in the middle or at the end. That's why they appear in different forms. So we continue on to page 8. Ra, za, sin, shin, sod, dod, to, zo, ain, goin. So pause the video and try to see if you are able to, recognize the letters. Then page 9, from fa to ya. Fa, of, kaf, lam, mim, nun, waw, ha, ya. So these are different forms. These letters will appear in the Quran, whether they are in the beginning or middle or the end. And in the next video we're going to move on to lesson 4, which is on Fatha. So we hope we see you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.